Good morning. It is Thursday, April the 16th, and I'm here with your bell ringer answer from the 15th. Run a little late this morning. We had some technical difficulties that we were trying to get straightened out. In case any of you are wondering, I'm trying to stay with the idea of what it would be like to still be in our classroom. I'm not gone into some sort of completely slacker mode of just wearing my hoodie sweatshirts and whatnot to do your lessons. I am still rocking my Mr. Girth starter kit, the vest over the plaid shirt. So any of you all have Mr. Girth, you can let him know that I haven't completely given up on my teacher wardrobe and my aspirations to be one day as good as he is in the classroom. All right, let's get to what really matters. Your bell ringer for Wednesday had you watch a video on Catalonian independence from Spain. It's a good case study on the idea of an independence movement. It teaches the idea of devolution, the breaking down of central authority. So the video introduces you to the idea that Spain was unified under an authoritarian Spanish government. I would point out a parallel here that's something that you would have learned in 9th grade modern world history. You learn about German unification and Kaiser Wilhelm and all of those sorts of things in your 9th grade modern world history class. And that's usually done to some extent in the context of it was successful, it helped to create a modern day German state. That's the same kind of thing that went on under Franco's regime in Spain. But the Spanish version tends to be seen as much more authoritarian and much more negative. It's a similar action, but in one country it's seen as more of a positive, in another it's seen as more of a negative. So let's talk a little bit about what worked and what didn't, and why independence is important in a place like Catalonia. For Catalonians, they speak a different language. They have a different history. They have a history of not being part of a modern day country. And so there's a push for independence. They are disproportionately affluent compared to the rest of Spain. You oftentimes hear people talk about economic inequality when they're at the bottom and they want to be at the top. But many of the Catalonians you saw in the video, they are at the top. And they don't like the idea of having to fund the bottom, fund the rest of the country. Economic inequality is common throughout all countries. Catalonia is one of the more wealthy regions. In the United States, this would be like talking about cities like LA or San Diego or San Francisco or regions like New York that are more economically developed. They do pay a disproportionate amount of taxes compared to regions like, say, southern Alabama or northern Louisiana that are economically underdeveloped. And a lot of those taxes from the more wealthy portions of the US are used to fund less developed portions of the US. So it's not something that is completely isolated to just Spain. It's something that happens all across the world. Now, why would the Spanish government not want to let Catalonians have their own independence? The Spanish government wants to create a modern state known as Spain, a modern state that has that has viability. And with all of those different regions that you see in the map in the video, once you say yes to one region, how do you say no to other regions that might already be semi-autonomous, that might want to leave? The devolution might increase, where the central government loses more and more and more authority. What you're seeing in Catalonia, as well as in several other regions of Spain, is increasing centrifugal forces, with an F, forces that want to tear a country apart. We talked about that in the Google Meeting Part 2, dealing with different political geographic influences. Okay. So hopefully that wraps up your understanding and interest in those topics. Now, I just mentioned the Google Meetings. One of the reasons I'm running behind this morning is I got your emails about things not working. This morning I sent out what I believe to be functional shareable links for both of the Google Meetings dealing with political geography and the Google Meeting dealing with the dealing with the answers for the religion test. So hopefully those all work now. I'm sorry if that created any stress for you. I'm learning a little bit of this as I go along, and hopefully I won't make those mistakes again in the future. All right, so have a great Thursday. One last thing, be on the lookout for another Google meeting that'll come out tomorrow morning dealing with some ideas of multinationalism. We'll get into talking about the European Union, what created the EU, all of those sorts of things. And don't forget to look at the 3 for 3s and the bell ringer for today. All right, have a good Thursday and stay safe.